Hey YouTube, Mark Kaufman here, and today I want to talk to you about where my collection is at the moment. Now, by no means is this my entire collection, but this is definitely my modern carry selection here. I am not including my slip joints. Or my traditional folding knives, or sentimental knives like my grandfather's knife, anything like that in here. These here are all of my modern folders and where I am going with my collection. So excuse me, and without a further ado, I want to first talk to you about why I have drastically gone down from having almost probably 250 knives to having 12 modern folders. And it was simply that there was a lot of money sitting there, and I've done a few videos explaining my reasoning for going and doing this, but it was a lot of money just sitting there. It was a lot of knives not being used and no real possibility of me ever using all of them. And for me personally, I feel that at least for my modern folders, 12 knives was where I felt very comfortable in being regarding my collection. And I told myself I want to have knives that I'm going to use, that are a good value, that will be robust, serviceable, will be able to take a beating if the time comes to it, and something that if I had to, I could use it in any situation. So right now, let's just start with what I have right now. Excuse me. So first off, and actually, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to just move these aside. And so first off, the CRKT Pi R. This knife is so fantastic, which right now I'm butchering on deployment here. But this thing is fantastic. I love having this in my collection, and repeatedly I had thought about selling this, and I just ended up not doing it. I just can't do it. I have sharpened it, and it is just, it's razor sharp. It's fantastic, easy to sharpen. I have chamfered the edges of the deployment hole over here, and I've been doing that over a period of weeks. So I've been trying to be very careful with that. And so because of that, I don't get the grip I used to with this knife, but it's a little more comfortable in the deployment of the knife itself. So that is my first cheap knife. And the philosophy I want to have for my collection is I want to have 2 cheap knives, and then the rest are going to be high-end or relatively high-end usable knives. So the other one is the Rough Rider 1817, and this is a $15 to $8 knife with 440A blade. Excuse me. And I actually carry this thing. I enjoy using this thing, carrying it, using it, and I have found that it is a wonderful modern slip joint at an affordable cost that I can open either one-handed or two-handed and have securely in my pants. This thing is very good. I did loosen up the pocket clip just a little bit, but the thing is, this is just fantastic. And the thing that I love most about this is the fact that we have a total thickness of only 11.5 millimeters. It's very thin, very slim, and very minimal. So that is my second cheap knife. And I think I'm going to be able to get them all if I just do this instead. So that's my second cheap knife, which both happen to be slip joints. I mean, that didn't happen, you know, that wasn't planned. It's just, that's what I want in my cheaper knife, and that's just where that ended up. So the next knife that I have is, I wanted to have a high-end slip joint, and I've already done a follow-up video on this that details why I ended up keeping this fantastic blade, but this is just a wonderful knife. It's beautiful, well built. What can you do? And I don't see myself spending that kind of money again on this knife ever. So I just decided I'm going to keep it. So that is my high-end slip joint. I'm going to try my best to get everything to fit here. Then the other area is my Benchmade 940, which I have modified. So, and I have done a video on this modification, so go check that out on my YouTube. But this knife is just one of the kings of EDC in collections. I mean, it is just fantastic. And with this forward choil slash sharpening choil, because later in life, this area here becomes an issue for Osborne, 940 Osbornes. So that is another knife that I'm just keeping in the collection, and I will leave that one open. Put that there. Sorry about my throat. I've got something caught in my throat and I just can't get it out. I'm sorry about that. The other thing I have thought about selling, and I just decided I can't do it. I have to have one of Rick Hinderer's designs, and I am not going to be paying $400 or $300 for one of his knives. So this is the next best thing for me. So this knife here is another one that I am going to be keeping and using. It's a very usable knife with a very robust blade and robust tip, and it's just fantastic. The M390 on this is treated very well and has proven itself in my collection and use. So that is one that I will be keeping most definitely. So here we go. And yes, I noticed that you couldn't see the left side of my knives, or at least the knife sleeve, because I have to have a surprise or two in this. The other one is one of my grails, the ZT, and I always forget the freaking name, 0640. And this thing is just fantastic. It stabs into packages like no other. And after a few weeks, and I think maybe even months at this point of use, it actually has proven to be a pretty decent slicer. It does do a pretty good job in doing a slicey task. So it's stuck around. I had a few moments where I was going to get rid of it, and I found after use, nope, not going to be the case. And then the other king in my collection, my Spyderco Paramilitary 2 Maximet. And another YouTuber mentioned on my past video on this, and I was saying that this one was hard to find, but he corrected me and said the Para 3 was the harder one. I agree, the Para 3 is hard to find, but I'm sorry, this one was also hard to find for me, so that's why I said it was hard to find. But this thing is just fantastic. The detent is not as strong as I would want it to be, but it is still fantastic. It could be a smidgen stronger on the detent. So there is my next one, and so we are so far 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in. Now the next one, the Civivi Trailblazer, and this one here, whoop, can't get a grip on it, is a slip joint, but it's a fantastic slip joint. I mean, the edge on this thing is so damn thin. I mean, it's so crazy. This thing slices like no other. I'm able to get a full grip on it, and it's legal in a lot of places. So that's a reason why I have this. And it was also a Christmas gift from a buddy of mine. So it looks like we're gonna be running out of room here, but I can probably get a few more in here. So next one. And this was actually a knife that I bought 30 minutes before the new year. So 30 minutes before 2021, I decided I'm going to buy one more knife before my New Year's resolution, and that was the H1 Salt 2. This one has been absolutely fantastic. I love it. I did take it apart. I took out every screw and put Loctite on it. I don't know what's up with Seki City right now, but in all their knives, we asked for red Loctite to be removed, and they neglect to put blue Loctite. So I don't know what the deal is, but I had to put blue Loctite on every single screw, which was a little bit of a bother. It wasn't horrible, but it was just an inconvenience that I had to do that on a brand new knife. So, but I've got it into where I want it to be. It's a little firm, just granted because there's no liners in this thing. So I wanted it to just be a little firmer to give a little more stability to the blade. But I have been enjoying this one. Now, let's see. Yep, I'm gonna be able to get at least one more in there. Next one, Kershaw Blur. Love this. I have modified it. I put a sharpening choil there, and the way that I've been sharpening this, people ask me, how do you sharpen a recurve? I just have jerry-rigged a round ceramic rod onto one of my sharpening stones for my Lansky, and all I've done is just taken 2 rubber bands and put it on the stone side, and then I adjust the arm low enough where it's still going to be true to the angle that I'm sharpening it at, and I just do that, and I just roll it across here and then flip the knife over and roll it across here, and I do that probably 3 times each side and then strop it, and that gives me a brand new edge if I feel like it's getting dull. So this I have not sharpened it yet. It still has the factory belt grinds on there, but I have sharpened it, micro beveled it with a ceramic rod. So that's one that I've been carrying and enjoying, and we've got a full house here. We've only got 2 left of actual modern knives that I've been decided to keep. So yep, the Benchmade Super Freak has stuck around, and that is just something I am so happy about. I have decided that I wanted to keep this one. This one is a serious powerhouse when it comes to knives, and it really, really is a wonderful, wonderful knife to have in the collection. It's fantastic. It's basically a Griptilian on steroids, and I love it. So I'm going to put that one, I'm just going to put it right there on top. And then the very last one, the Giant Mouse Ioma. And this thing is fantastic. Talk about a workhorse knife that is compact. This thing has tackled a lot of jobs for me and has been sharpened quite a few times because of how much I use it. And I just love having it. It is my only Giant Mouse now in the collection, but I love having it. And it was also a Christmas gift from a buddy of mine. So there we go. So that is, and where can I put this? I'm gonna just put that there. That is where my modern knife collection is right now. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because there's a lot of ways we get entrapped by buying new knives, new items, new blades, new things. It's the hype, it's many other things. But the thing is buy what you like, use what you like. You don't have to have 300. So thank you guys again for joining me, and I hope you have a great one wherever you might be.